Welcome to Lean Into Leadership, where we lead the conversation about anything and everything leadership related. On today's episode, Andy Roman joins the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to Leadership in 20. We got another great episode planned for you today. Brandon Skiles here today. I'm joined with
Romel'o here today.
And Andrew, but everybody calls me Andy.
So we're gonna hop right into this. I know Melo's got the first question for you. So this first question is really about like who you are, what leadership means to you, and some of your involvements on campus. But Melo, take it away.
All right, Andy. So, first question for you is who are you?
Like I said, my name is Andy. I'm from Chicago.
Okay.
Came to Central on a scholarship, as well as the Leadership Advancement Scholarship as well. I'm a current junior, finishing up classes. We'll be done on Thursday, a long finals week. But after that, off to the summer and coming back as a senior next year. Yeah.
Cool. You, how many exams you got left?
How many exams I got left? I got two more.
Two more?
Yeah.
Two more.
Almost done.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, obviously you said Leader Advancement Scholar. What have you gotten involved in terms of the Leadership Institute, even outside the LI, as your time throughout college?
Yeah. Well, I attribute a lot of the things that I am a part of because of the Leadership Institute.
Okay.
And LAS,
Mm-hmm.
because of the people that I got to know within LAS introduced me to a lot of these things. Like, for example, my fraternity, right, Sigma Lambda Beta.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have been in that fraternity, or I wouldn't have known about it unless I had known somebody named Hondro, who was in the Leadership Institute, who exposed me to that and got me interested. Empowered Latino Union, I'm also part of that. General member, not an e-board member, but I just go to their meetings. More recently, this past year, I think we just came up on a year. The Leadership Institute Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force.
Yep.
I know Koana was here, did this podcast before, and she was the student coordinator this past year as well as last year. And then coming up in this upcoming year, I'm going to be the student coordinator for that task force. So it's super, super exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're going to do great work, as you always have and stuff. It's funny, too, seeing you now. Because I obviously met you when you were a freshman, which seems like yesterday, right?
No.
But you've done so much on campus in just a short amount of time, and it's just like one of those things that I think like through getting involved, like you said, the Leadership Institute, getting connected with folks on campus, like you found your passions and stuff. You've done a lot of great work too, so should be very proud of that.
Thank
I know
you.
you are.
Thank
But
you.
I'm excited to see too what you do. You know. Obviously, to continue. I mean, you help with Leader Shape too, which is another big
Yeah.
program
Oh,
you do
yeah.
there. Yeah, you were doing your field study or your internship for leadership with that, which was really good. But yeah, it's exciting to see there. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool things in the future and in the near future of the Leadership Institute. So, obviously, getting to be a part of that and share that time with you is gonna be awesome too. So, I think Melo's got a second question or follow up more.
Yeah. A little follow up. You know, the basic question that everyone asks. What's your major? Because I don't know. I'm curious.
Okay, so this is when I tell people, they're surprised.
Okay.
So I'll tell the major and I'll tell you why I have everything. So
Cool.
I'm a political science major, also a law and economics major. I also have 4 minors: leadership minor, public law minor, legal studies minor, and economics minor.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. It's like I'm like Thanos. I have the gauntlet. Yeah. And then just disappear. And then I also have an undergraduate certificate in lawmaking and legal processes. So like I said, I've the reason why I have all these things, because when I say that, everybody's like, whoa, this dude's everywhere, on campus, in and out of the classroom, all over the place. Like I said, I came around on a scholarship, a full ride scholarship. And I don't know, with the full ride scholarship, it's amazing to have your financials covered, and everything taken care of, right? But then there's also another aspect to that where it's you don't want it to go to waste, right? And I kind of fell into that, where like I have a certain amount of credit hours covered, so I'm gonna stack everything up within those credit hours. So like, yes, I don't have the financial burden of everything, but I also have I had that feeling of like, I can't let this go to waste, so I'm gonna do everything. And so that's why I have all the majors that I have, the minors, the certificate, and then and also all the activities I'm involved in, all that stuff. So
I can actually relate to that because so I still have to pay for housing. I stay off campus, but my tuition is covered due to just low income and stuff like that, and also transferring from community college. And I always had that same mindset where it's like, if I'm here at this school, I even thought about it, like, even if I was paying out of my pocket, like the fact that I'm here, and I can't speak for everybody, but if I'm going to be here, I'm going to try my best to do everything I can do, whether it's to make an impact, make those memories, have fun. Like, I don't want to just go to class and go back to my dorm, whether I'm here for free or whether I'm spending thousands to go here. Like, I'm trying to make the most out of being here. So I feel you on that. Get your four minors and get your majors and go crazy, man, for real, because especially us just all being young, like, we don't really get this opportunity that much. I mean, you can be a little bit older and go back into education. It's never too late to get your education in higher ed, but doing it now is definitely good because you're new and you're fresh and your brain is very malleable, and you get to like really figure out what you want to do and test those waters, so I'm proud of you, because I ain't never heard of that before. That's crazy.
I remember when I went to like get all the majors and minors signed and everything, like I would meet with my academic advisor, and he'd be like, the one from the business school, and he'd be like, I didn't even think this was possible. Like, you came in here like 3 times in a row adding a minor every time, and now you want to add a major. It's like, I don't even think this was possible to even do. But yeah,
go crazy, man.
I mean, I guess pro tip, if you're in college right now or starting your college journey or whatever, meet with your advisor. You can find ways to add a couple minors. I didn't know that. I was thinking of it, but Andy's done it. So if it's been done before, it can be replicated. So that's awesome though. I like what you guys said too about like making the most out of your time here and valuing that, because like you both kind of alluded to, like you can stay at home and just go to your basic classes, which is totally fine. That's the experience you want. But again, whether you're here, you're fortunate to attend higher education, whether that's coming out of your own pockets through scholarships or aid, whatever it may be, like having the opportunity to be here, like you can make the most out of it. There's so many opportunities, and so that was really nice to hear too.
And I also think that like even if you do spend time and you go to the classes, right, and you go home and you go to class, but like that going to class within itself can open so many opportunities, right? Because there's so many student organizations, especially at Central Michigan, right? There's so many student organizations on campus, and the way you get exposed to them is by going to your class, and who knows, somebody will come in and promote their meetings that are going on, and then you join, right? I know that for Prospanica, right, a business organization here, I learned about it through word of mouth by going to my classes. Hey, Prospanica. It's an organization for Latino Hispanic people in business school. So yeah, and if it wasn't for me going to class and talking to people in those classes, I wouldn't even know that organization existed, and I was able to join and go to their meetings. It's a great group. So yeah, so many doors open up, no matter what you do, really.
That's definitely another pro tip. Go to class, because and there's people who like, oh no, I'm not gonna go because I already did the assignment, or the professor doesn't really teach, or there's always these excuses. Oh, I'm too tired. No, going to class definitely opens you up to a lot. It sounds so, I won't say dumb, it sounds so basic to say, like, oh, go to class. But like you said, like, you go to class and somebody's coming in and, you know, y'all can have a random pizza party and, like, there's somebody there and they, a speaker, and they give you out a business card and you meet them and you get to talk to them one-on-one, and, like, you would have never known if you didn't go to class. So, yeah, that's definitely a good one, too. Should we jump into the second question?
I think so.
Sure, yeah.
All right, so the second question is kind of off the dome. So what leadership roles do you currently have or have held, and why do you believe leadership is important?
Okay, leadership roles that I've had
or currently have.
Well, I've been a treasurer for many organizations. There was a point in time last year, sophomore year, I was the treasurer for 3 different organizations. So they called me Mr. Moneybags.
Mr. Moneybags.
I was managing the money and everything. I've been a treasurer before. I've done social media. I've done like secretary positions before. Just kind of leadership positions here and there. And I think all those organizations and those opportunities that I was able to be a part of really shaped the way I view leadership, right? The way I think of leadership is, the typical definition of a leader is like you lead some group or lead some people from point A to B, whatever that may be, right? But it's really more than that. It's really like giving yourself all of yourself to the organization and their goals, hopefully with the goal of inspiring people to not only get to point A, not only get from point A to point B, but also to give them the tools necessary to get to point C as well, and so forth. So yeah, I mean, I think LAS has really shaped the way I think of leadership. I mean, we do all these leadership courses, right? And then, you go through the protocol, and then you go do your internship opportunity, whatever that may be. And then you do communication classes and all that stuff, right? So, I think leadership within itself is the ability to inspire others by giving all of yourself to whatever it is you want to do, whatever, if it's something you love, if it's an organization you're in, giving all of yourself to that, in the hopes of making it better and improving, so that in the future, right, people can look back on what you've done and what you've done in your organization, what you've done on this campus, and have sort of a point of reference of like, okay, if he could do that, then I can do this, and I can take it a step further. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I definitely resonate with that as well. It's like just giving your all to whatever it is that you want to be a part of, organization, RSO, a Greek, a business even. I think for me, when I want to give it my all, it takes, I won't say it takes a lot out of me, but we talked about this before, there's this idea of wanting to break the perfectionism, because you want to be there for those people or for that organization or for that group, and you feel like maybe you're not fulfilling it to the fullest. So there's some sort of doubt or something like that, but then you don't really realize like what you have done for those people, or for that organization or for that group. So I was gonna say, like, is there a point in time where you felt like maybe I'm not doing enough, but maybe you have to get reminded by those around you that like you are doing enough for that organization or for those people?
Yeah, I think a lot. Imposter syndrome. Right. It's very real, and it's something that a lot of people go through, especially like on a college campus, right? You're around, especially if you surround yourself with leaders, right? LAS, you're around all these people who are always doing something, right? You look at Marley, she has her own business. Like, what? Kawana, she is SAPRI, DEI, everything, right? You have all these leaders around you, and it feels like, you yourself also have to do something great, do something amazing. And when you feel like you can't live up to that, you feel sort of like, oh, like I'm not living up to my full potential, or like look at everybody else and what am I doing, right? But like you said, like those organizations that you're a part of, right, and the work that you put in, it is noticed, right? People notice. Yeah. I remember I was doing like you mentioned earlier, leadership, right? Doing my LDR internship opportunity for leadership. And I'm out there working, and for a while I was like, am I really helping? Am I really doing anything? Like, I'm sitting here sending emails and all this. Yeah, people are responding. But then when I was in leadership, and then Allie, she gave me a shout out, like, thank you to these people for making this happen. And when I got my name called, that was very emotional for me, because I felt like my work had been noticed, right? And it felt really rewarding for the work that I had put in, for it to be recognized and to be appreciated. And those opportunities and those things happen few and far in between, right? Not all the time when you put in all this work, you're going to get a slap or a slap on the back or a high five, right? A lot of it is done in silence, right? Without recognition, without approval, appreciation, right? So that when it does get appreciated and it does get recognized, you feel like a sense of like, I actually did something, right? So I think going back to your question, where like times where, I felt down and like I wasn't living up to my potential and everything. I mean, it happens all the time. Yeah. It happens all the time. But it's when the people that you work within your organization, whether it's, like you said, RSO, within your own major, right? Having a professor say you did a good job on this exam, right? That means the world to me, to other students, right? So when you get that recognition of like, hey, you're doing good, it really motivates you to keep pushing and keep going, and to continue the work that you're doing, because it's important, right? The work that we do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I appreciate you sharing that too, because I think that's been a common trend we've seen so far, hanging with students, and not just students as well, right? This happens with any time in your professional career, it can. And so like the idea of like imposter syndrome, right, or breaking it down into like sometimes the root of just being, that unconfidence in maybe your ability. And so, which is totally normal and okay. And I think sometimes, like you mentioned, even like naming that and talking about that is important. And like that appreciation piece, I think is, I've thought about that a lot too, just even reflecting on some of these talks. Like, how can we show appreciation to folks? One, in the ways that they would like that, but two, also make it a little bit more, intentional, but like at more incremental, I guess, right? Or like adding it as we go through time. And so, I don't know necessarily how that looks, because also on the flip side too, it's like, we obviously don't want to do things or expecting that in return, but it's nice to hear. And so how do we find that balance, right? Because you said it perfectly. Like, it's also about all, the work that you do a lot of the time might go unnoticed. Then it goes, right? It's not unnoticed, but like you might not receive that, the confirmation or the, what you're looking for from that. And so this is interesting perspective to share, I guess, in leadership experience, because I think we all have gone through that. We all experience that in some way. And so maybe I'm going to take it away. Maybe you could reach out to someone that's, impacted you or done a good job, and, thank them for that too. Yeah. Maybe like spread that, positivity around a little bit more as well. That would be like the task for y'all to do, the viewers and stuff. And you can leave it in the comments too of what you actually did. That'd be kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah. I was thinking it's also kind of like it feels like when someone's working on something, right? It's kind of like you see they're hardworking and they're so focused and they're so dedicated. You kind of don't want to intrude on that, right? So that also where I feel like it kind of gets difficult to give like affirmation, like, oh, you're doing a good job, because there's somebody's like, oh, like so focused and zoned in and trying to do the work that they're doing. So it can get kind of difficult to do that. But I think honestly, like, just shoot a text message like, hey, I recognize what you're doing. You're doing a good job, right? We appreciate you. And then, that person that receives that message will be super grateful for that. Yeah, for sure.
I agree with you with what you're saying. And there's always been a struggle for me where I'm trying to depend on my own internal validation and like all that stuff. But like, there's all right, like recently there's something that happened that I felt like my voice wasn't being heard. And it was hard for me, because I'm like, geez, like why do I need this validation from the external, from all these people, when I know that what I'm saying makes sense? You know, I know that what I'm saying is valued and validated, but there is still that part of me, because I'm human, and like I think we just strive for human connection with others. There's still that part of me going, well, I still want to be heard. Like, I still want to be acknowledged. I still want someone to say, yeah, I hear you. So, and that was just like speaking in an opinion. Going to actually like putting in the work of doing something, same way. Like, you could walk around and be like, well, shoot, I know I did this, you know, like I put in the hard work and effort into this, so no one can't tell me that I didn't, you know. But then there's still that part of you that wants someone to be like, hey man, you did a great job. Hey man, I'm proud of you for doing this. I'm proud of you for doing that. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we gotta find a healthy balance behind it, because now we live in this world of social media where you have things like likes and being viral and stuff like that, and that kind of does fall in the same category of like validation and feeling heard and feeling like you're important. But like, you know, because of the world we live in, I feel like the definition or the meaning is kind of getting construed. But at the end of the day, I strongly believe us as humans, we seek that. You know, because we seek that. Like, there's nothing wrong with seeking that. There's nothing wrong with somebody. Like when I graduated in December, like, I'm going to be extremely happy for my parents and everyone else who's seen me grow to be like, man, I'm proud of you, man. Like, it's going to make me appreciate me graduating more, you know? And so I personally feel like we need to take I won't say we need to, but I feel like society should take a strong approach on like making people feel heard and making people feel validated and making people feel like, hey, I see you, like, you're doing a good job, you know, because I feel like people aren't getting that enough, and people start to feel like they don't have some sort of worth to an extent, you know. So, I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but
no, I totally agree. I think if more of an effort was made to make people feel heard, make people feel welcome, appreciated, right? You'd see a lot more work being done, right? Yeah. When people are reminded that they're doing a good job, they're going to keep doing that good job, right? So I think I totally agree. I agree, yeah.
Yeah. Anything? No, I think we're good, yeah. Well, third question is, what advice would you give to the audience? If you could say anything, you want everyone watching to just learn this crucial thing.
I would say to appreciate where you are, wherever that may be, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, and recognize that where you will be is wherever you're meant to be, right? You know, it's very like, you know, thinking in a positive way, right? But it's true, right? You know, a lot of the ways that you battle imposter syndrome is by realizing that, you know, I'm supposed to be here, right? Yeah. And I have work here, and there's things that needs to be done here. So that's just something, a general piece of advice I would give anybody, really, is to recognize where you are, appreciate where you are, and where you will end up becoming, what you end up becoming is what you're meant to be, right? And just keep putting in that hard work to get there. Now, if you're a student trying to come to Central, my number one advice is to learn degree progress. Master that system. Because you trying to, if you want to know how I got 2 majors, 4 minors, and a certificate, it's because I mastered degree progress. Yeah. So I don't know if they know what that is, but so degree progress is kind of like your college academic career laid out within a program, and then your majors, your minors, and then it kind of fills in with the classes you register for. And it'll tell you what your requirements are and how many credits you have left, how many you need to graduate, what GPA you need to have, right? So if you can learn that, you can learn how to plug in the system and see where you're at from a freshman year, and you can see, okay, so by the end of this year, I'll have all my general education requirements finished. Now I can have these next 3 years to do my major, or to do 2 majors and 4 minors. So yeah, that's probably like the biggest piece of advice if you're an incoming student, is to learn degree progress.
Hey, now that I think about it, you got a solid point, and you actually got me thinking. Because I came here and I was only going for a major. It was computer science, and I switched to community development. But I realized, wait a minute, a lot of these community development classes and some of my gen eds, I can get a leadership major, and just boom.
Yeah.
So now you got me thinking, because the next semester is my last semester, and I'm taking 3 classes, and I got to talk to financial aid about if I should take another one. But maybe I could look into there, and maybe I could get another
one.
That's crazy. Yeah. So you really did the system good.
Yeah.
No,
the guru.
That is some good advice. Learn degree
progress.
Yeah. Learn that,
because what you don't realize is that, like, the classes you take, right? They'll double count.
Yeah.
Right. Like, they'll cross over. Like my law and economics major, my classes for that major cross into my economics minor, so that I only had to take an extra class next year to get the minor. So I'm like, why wouldn't I take the class? So I just took the class and got the minor signed. Like, it's literally like, if you learn how to do it, your time in college will be well spent academically, I will say. Like, you will know that you got the most that you can get out of it, because you utilized everything that you could. Yeah.
I might have to use AI to figure out if I can add an extra major. That'd be cool. But what else you said is like, you are where you are where you need to be. That was something that I was kind of reflecting on this week, actually, because I'm like, man, there's a lot of times where I feel like why am I here? Like am I really meant to be here? Like you said, that imposter syndrome. But like, clearly I'm here for a reason. Like, I'm not here by mistake. I'm not here on accident. And I feel like that is something where maybe you can use that external validation. But like, I personally think that is more of an internal. Like, sometimes you really do got to tell yourself, like, clearly I'm here for a reason. Clearly this is not a mistake. Clearly I didn't meet these people on accident. And just consistently reminding yourself of that, I feel like helps me know that, like, or like, there may be some wants or some needs or something that I may not have right now, but there are wants and needs that I currently have right now that I need to, like, appreciate, because this might be the only time that I get to have those wants and needs. And then maybe next year or the year after that, I might have another set of wants and needs that may be fulfilled. Something I always tell myself, and I don't know if you have ever said this, is like your 13-year-old version of yourself or your 10-year-old version, like, that child version of yourself is looking at you right now like, dang, like, I want to be him, like he's cool. You know what I mean? And like, I have to remind myself of that. Is like, that younger me is looking at me now like, wow, like, he's in college, he got, he doing this, so I think that also helps me too. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, like Mello said, that's some good advice. Degree progress. I mean, we're back onto that. That's how I changed one of my minors into a second major, right? So learning the system, they have a cool what if plan in there. So you can map stuff out. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you just sit there for a little bit.
Sit there for like 2 hours, just plug it in. If I plug this in,
Exactly. No, it's a really nice tool.
I really think of it as a game. It's really a game.
It is.
It's a game.
If you like that.
If you like playing video games and you like puzzle solving and stuff, that's it.
It's like
that's it right there.
Analytical puzzle.
Yeah,
perfection.
You plug it in, right? And then next thing you do, you just gotta go to the classes.
Exactly.
Just show up.
No, it is a really cool tool, and I'm sure other, if you're not coming to CMU or you're not here, I'm sure other institutions have some type of similar format to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like what Mel was just kind of shaping too about your first piece of advice about being appreciative of like the moment, right? Being present. And that's one of those things that it's so powerful, but it can be so challenging to do, right? And in the world, because we get so caught up in things, but it is so important. And I think if you're able to sometimes separate those things, like, that's when you're a game changer, right?
Yeah.
Because you know that, hey, maybe you have a small setback here, but guess what? It's going to open up a different opportunity, right? How do you look at failure? Do you look at failure as, I'm the worst person ever, I suck? Or are you going to look at it as, like, that's a new opportunity for me, something to learn from, a new door opens, right? And so, So yeah, I love that. I think people need to hear that more.
Yeah.
It's really great to see, you sharing that experience. And I'm sure, that's happened to you at some point. Like maybe there's some role or some type of experience you were looking for and it maybe didn't work out, or to maybe how you expected, but new things and new opportunities came through that, right? So
yeah. It is hard. It's hard. It's hard to think always in a way like, I'm where I am and I accept where I am, but there's other things that I want to do, so I'm gonna take the steps necessary to get there. It's always hard because it's very easy to like feel like the world is like closing in. Absolutely. And like there's too many things going on. You can't focus on what you want to focus on, right? And it can be very difficult to get past that, right? But once you learn how to, you can really do anything. Yeah. Really.
Yeah. It's that patience game too, right? And it's hard as well, right? Especially when you're talking about social media, like that instant gratification. I know we've talked about that before, but it's so big, and it's hard sometimes to, or again, like we can't predict the future, right? In that way. Yeah. So it's like, again, in the moment, you have those emotional responses, which are natural and make sense. Like, how do you respond to a setback or something that didn't maybe go as you planned? And it's like, it's hard to sometimes have that positivity or that growth mindset in that moment, being like, it's going to work out. But if you can find a way to do that, find a way. By the way, I'm not going to share it. Find a way. Find a way. It changes the whole game and landscape. So, love that.
That's the big thing is like everything will be okay at the end. Everything's going to be okay. Exactly. Every time I say that, I always say that when it's like, you feel like everything's not gonna be okay, and you like whenever I see myself saying it to myself, everything's gonna be okay, and I feel like I'm crazy because I'm like, no, everything's not gonna be okay. Like there's so many things I need to do. Right. I mean, I'm like 2 weeks late behind on this assignment that I have to do. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything, I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna drop out. But at the end of the day, send a couple emails here or there. Reach out to people, ask for help. Right. Asking for help is crucial.
That's a good find a way.
That is a good find a way. Asking for help. You learn that skill. Oof.
And then at the end of the day, I mean, everything works out for a reason. I mean, that's something my mom says is everything happens for a reason. Right. Right. I'm sure as you all have heard that before, and it's true. It really is true.
It is. Yeah.
Right. When you think the world is crumbling down on you, I mean, you're probably drowning in a pond, right? I mean, or in a puddle. Right. We get so tunnel vision and so focused on like the things that are bad that are happening around us, or like things are not going our way, right? That we kind of forget that, tomorrow's another day, and that, you have another week, right? And you have a month, right? And you're going to make it through, and you kind of lose that vision of the bigger picture, which I think where a lot of people kind of get lost in that, like everything's going bad, everything's going wrong. They can't see that, like, just take off the vision blockers. This is the moment will pass, and you'll make it out of here and make it through. Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Mel, you got anything to add? Feeling good? Yeah. Andy, is there anything that we didn't ask you didn't touch upon that you want to share with the audience?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll hit you when you leave, right? That's
probably.
That's what always happens.
I'll walk out the door and I'll come back. Guys, you guys stop everything yet?
We'll add in. You're wearing like a different shirt because it's tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's the vibe.
Be like an extra clip of you at home, just like
guys. So I came up with the.
You're right. You could throw it in the comments. I wasn't even thinking about that. Sure, you could watch the video and be like, hey, I meant to add this to this, but
my name's Andy from Chicago. I'm Puerto Rican. There you go. I didn't say that earlier. Okay. Many involvements. Love the Leadership Institute. Love LAS. Love everything. It's really shaped my college experience, really. So I'm eternally grateful for everyone in the Leadership Institute and the work that they do on campus, because that was really the first community that I was around frequently, right? LAS, the cohort, and that really helped me find the right people to be around, and the people who want to see you improve and want to see you do better. Absolutely. So eternally grateful to the Leadership Institute and everything that they've provided me, and while I'm here at Central Michigan, and I'm gonna miss them when I'm gone when I graduate next year. So
with, by the way, 2 majors and 4 minors.
2 majors, 4 minors.
If you haven't, if you got
and
that yet,
and an undergraduate certificate.
and a certificate.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I've watched previous episodes before, and I was like, when are they gonna do students? And then we got the email. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is my moment. So I filled out the email. I filled it out. Gave really long answers. I don't know if you read all of it, but
I'm just glad we got you in.
Yeah, before the semester. Yeah, it's been crazy the last couple weeks. We've all been busy, so as you as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't know if that person wants to.
Yeah, we'll get it going.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Luckily today I was free, so.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here, and I know the LI movement is extremely appreciated for all that you've given to LIS, your leadership and student experience, and like how you support that and spread the word around campus too, and in different communities. And like again, I know a lot of our guests have really talked about those experiences being special to them, and that community aspect. But like you can find that community too in other places, right? That wherever you are in life, whether that's again in your professional career with your friends and family, whether that's at a different college campus or even here at CMU in different areas. Like I think a lot of students as well have found not a secondary, but an additional support system or community outside of Leadership Institute as well. And I think when you have more than one, I think we see greater maybe return on your experience, right? And you're able to get involved a little bit more, feel more supportive and all those great things. So, but yeah, I mean, like Annie mentioned, if you have a story too that you want to share, you want to be featured on Leadership in 20 through Lean Into Leadership, let us know. There's going to be a form in the description you can fill out, and we'll check that out as well. And again, we're also going to be filming some over the summer, I believe. So if you're around Mount Pleasant campus, we'd love to get you going in the summer. But I think that's all we have for you today. Yeah. Andy, Mello, it's been a pleasure as usual. Part 2 maybe? Part 2? Yeah? Always a part 2, right? Mello, Andy, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for being on the show, and hopefully we'll see you next time on Leadership in 20. And for now, keep leading the way. Peace. Keep leading the way. Find a way to keep leading the way. All right. Take care.
Thanks for having me.